What's happening, y'all? Good morning. So, all right, you know how earlier in the week we were talking about targets and daily targets, right? And so sort of one of the secrets to crushing it is A, to have a daily target, and then B, raise the standard of that target and make it significantly higher than what it originally was. And I gave you the example from, I think this was Tuesday night. It all runs together now because of the travel. But I think it was Tuesday night. I told you how prior to our new target, which is 100 grand a day, our older target was 40 grand a day, and we raised it to 100 grand a day. And then the other day, we hit like $43,000 or $44,000 or something in new business, and none of us were excited because we had raised that standard of the target, right? So if we kind of revisit that theme for a minute, and we accept that, okay, targets are good, higher standards are good, then the next logical question is, how do you hit the targets? So obviously the first thing that we always want to do is consistently make offers and deploy intent-based branding. Again, I'm going to say it forever until it stops being true. We right now just have this ridiculous opportunity to get in front of the right people. I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to your metrics, like after you post something that we did. Natalia and I went live yesterday, and it was less than 24 hours ago, and 7,500 people have seen it. The point is, we've never had this kind of opportunity before, you and I, just to utilize all of these platforms, and get in front of so many prospects and put so much good into the world, which is important because the amount of good you put in is directly related to how much you get back, monetarily, karmically, etc. So we sort of got all that down, right? It's like, okay, put forth a lot of good content. Our content always needs to do three things: provide value, build goodwill, and make offers. But in doing that, you will create something called a hot list. By the way, if you're interested in learning how to create all that content and all that stuff, the methodology I've been using is called intent-based branding. You can learn about it at kernklass.com. 23-minute deep dive video showing you how to do it. Just right there on the page. You don't need to opt in for anything. So let's talk about the hot list, all right? I don't know why that word is funny to me this morning. It comes from direct mail. Okay, so any of you hardcore old school veterans, this is my 19th year in this business, so I started in studying direct mail before the internet. The term hot list is a direct mail term, and it's typically used to refer to a list of recent buyers. All right, so if you were to go and rent a direct mail list or something, you would ask them for the hot list, and the hot list would be the people who have bought stuff the most recently. And obviously that's going to be like the hottest, best list, because recency typically is going to indicate a higher degree of interest, right? Well, now we can create a hot list way easier than that. So number one, hang on, I'm going to need some of this coffee. It's going to be a long day, man. All right. Thing number one, you got to have a hot list. Thing number two, I think we can define a hot list as being the people who are the most interested right now in what you have to offer. And thing number three is, how do you get one? So in direct mail, it would be the recent buyers, and you could run a direct mail list. In our businesses now, it's relatively different, of course, unless we're doing direct mail, right? But most of us aren't. So most of us are online. So here's how we define our hot list in my company. And maybe this will be of some benefit to you in defining your own. So what we look for, and this is going to sound like technical, but it's not really. What we look for is behavioral indication of interest. All right? I know that's a boring sounding word. Here's what it translates to into Georgia, which is where I'm from. It means people who've done something really recently that like shows they want to buy your stuff. For example, in our branding class, funnel, quote unquote, it's not much of a funnel, if somebody begins to fill out the order form and they don't complete the order form, they are on the hot list because clearly they're interested, right? Obviously they're interested. Otherwise they wouldn't have filled out the beginning of the order form. So what we do at the beginning of a day when looking at, all right, how are we going to hit this day's targets? First of all, we do all the stuff that you just do every day: make offers, build goodwill, provide good content, promote, and then promote again, right? But secondly, we look at that hot list and we say, okay, here's the hot list. let's follow up with the hot list, right? And so in our office, in terms of manpower, and by manpower I mean like actual humans doing things, the majority of that effort is spent by people going to that hot list and individually giving them the attention that they might need to either get a decision from them, yes or no. Either one's fine. You know, we're not in the high pressure business, but really giving them whatever info they need to make that decision. So in your business, here are some examples of behavior that could like cause someone to be on your hot list. Number one, let's say they're on your email list, you're running a promotion and they click to go see the promotion. And they have done that in the last 24 hours. Hot list. Number two, obviously, if they have filled out step one of an order form and they have abandoned the cart, hot list. All right. Number three, let's say you're running a webinar or a class on demand. If they attend that and they stay long enough to see your offer, hot list. All right. If you are tracking this granularly, if you send people to a video sales letter and from there they click to the order form, and if you use systems like Kartra, Infusionsoft, Drip, I think pretty much everything, if you have the tech set up right, you can track that, right? So if they go to your, if they just click to your order form from your main page and you're able to track it, that's another hot list indicator, all right? Someone who fills out an application to talk to you, hot list, right? Somebody who comments on one of your posts with something encouraging or indicating interest, hot list. Somebody who has a buyer question, hot list. Right? So like all of this behavior is something, is an example, and you'll define your own criteria, but those are the people that typically need the most attention, and the reason why is they have the highest degree of interest. So if you put your focus there in terms of like, all right, where am I going to physically like actually be doing stuff, then you're probably going to hit that target for the day, right? So that is what a hot list means. That's how you use one. That's how you use it to hit targets. I'll give you some tactics in a minute, but before I do, listen, the way to build a hot list is to get a lot of people who know, like, trust you and want your stuff to essentially raise their hand and say, hey, I want your stuff. The single best way ever to do that is a strategy called intent-based branding. Don't take my word for it. Go to kernclass.com if you're interested in learning about it. I've put up a 23-minute video for you on that page. You don't need to opt in or anything. It's just there. And it'll show you everything that we're doing and how we're using content and social media to build a really, really big brand, do a lot of good in the world, help a lot of people, and sell a lot of stuff. Again, that's kernclass.com. If someone would put that in the comments for me, I would appreciate it as well. So now, tactically speaking, how do you communicate with the hot list? Well, what we do in our shop, and this was Brad's idea, by the way, my main man, flashy Brad Bearden, is first of all, we pay the most attention to people who begin filling out the order process and then they don't. Incidentally, most people who start your order process won't complete it. That's just normal and direct response. So what we do is Tyler from my team will look at their records, and if they've got a number that's textable, he will like manually shoot him a video, and he'll be like, hey, this is Tyler from Frank's office. He'll call him by name, like, hey, Bob, this is Tyler from Frank's office. Looks like you started to enroll in the branding class, but you didn't finish. That's totally okay. You probably have some questions. Here's my number. Here's my schedule. If you need anything, let me know. So that's thing number one that we do. If you want to do that by email, by the way, there's a very good app called BombBomb, B-O-M-B, like, bomb, weird name. I know. Solid app, though, integrates with Gmail. You can do the same thing, just personal, honest to God, actual real live videos for people. So we do that as our like super high touch thing. We also set up a system where if somebody fills out like the beginning of an order form for us, two things will occur. Number one, they'll automatically get an email from Tyler. It's a real email. They can reply to it, and it'll say, hey, man, you need any help, just write me back. I'm here, I'm a real person, so that'll start that dialogue. Number two, it'll send him a message going, hey man, this person filled out the order form, follow up with them. So that's another thing that we do tactically. Another tactical thing you could do if you don't want to have that degree of like actual, manual labor, which I mean, really, it's not that much manual labor, but still, some people are just all about the automation. So another thing you can do is if somebody enters into a hot list, again, by like clicking an order form, filling out a step one, attending a webinar long enough to see the pitch, like whatever your definition is, you could also put them in some sort of a countdown sequence that's going to offer an additional bonus or a price incentive if they act before a deadline, etc. Right? So hot lists are big. The question is, how do you get them? And the answer is again, like universally, it's going to be intent-based branding. If you're not putting out content that does these three things, provides value, builds goodwill, and makes an offer every day, you're leaving money on the table. I'm telling you, this is an unbelievably effective strategy. We are almost, I just did the math this morning. I've been up since 4 o'clock Eastern time because of jet lag. So I just did the math this morning, and we're at $370-something thousand in branding class sales, and about $90,000 from our book funnel sales since we started doing all of this. By the way, is from organic social media, like not paid ads, but just posts that we're making using the intent-based branding framework. And so if you add that up, we're almost at the $500,000 mark. And I just started doing it and tracking it on December 1st. I'm not telling you that like, hey, you're going to make $500,000 or whatever. I'm just like really trying to make the point that if you're not using social in this fashion and your brain is going, well, it's too late. For me, it's not, because I literally just started doing it on December 1st, and I'm in one of the most competitive markets ever. And the people who are good at social are like have a way bigger head start than I do, and it's still working for me. So I think we've got nothing but opportunity right now. I mean, it's like blue ocean for all of us. And what's funny is we marketing folks, we will get a false sense of market saturation because we all follow each other, marketing people. And so if you look at the world from our lens, it looks like everybody in the world's a brilliant marketer, and it's promote all the time, and it'll lead you to think like, oh my God, it's so competitive out there, it's crazy. It's actually not. It's just that you're following a bunch of marketers, so you're seeing a lot of marketing stuff. If you apply like this intent-based branding methodology, for example, to something like gardening, relationships, health, fitness, general business, if you have a brick and mortar company, like if you're a lawyer, an accountant, or whatever, or sell cars, oh my gosh, it's really blue ocean then, because nobody's doing it at all. So we got a tremendous amount of opportunity. If you want to learn how to do it, again, go to kernclass.com. You don't need to opt in for anything. It's a really solid video overview on there. It'll show you my stats from December 1st till I think I recorded that around the 13th of January. Walk you through behind the scenes of what we do, how we put the content together, what you need to say, and all that kind of stuff. And I think you'll probably find it helpful. I'm going to go to the 10X Growth Con with my little bride and my main man, Brad Bearden, today, and really excited to be there. I mean, it's got to be a good conference. That's 30-something thousand people. I was thinking about this yesterday. Y'all ever been in a crowd of 30-something thousand people? I have not ever, I don't think. Like, I think maybe the biggest concert I ever saw was Taylor Swift. I took my daughters. It was pretty cool. We had like 8th row. She just wouldn't quit looking at me. I'm like, I know you see it, Taylor Swift. Okay, but I think that was maybe like 8,000 people or something, and that seemed like 1 billion. So holy crap, man, it's going to be a big day. 30-something thousand people. That's awesome. If y'all are going to be there and you see me, come say hey. And if you're not going to be there, I'll tell you all about it later. Okay, I guess I should iron my shirt, get a shower, get ready to party. See y'all later. Hit your hot list. Go to kernclass.com. Let's make it happen.